Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to counter Jill Stein's view on North Korea. Jill Stein was the Green Party presidential candidate in the U.S. presidential election in 2016, and she recently did an interview with Democracy Now!, and she said that North Korea had been pushed into the nuclear weapons program as a means of survival or as a means to stand a chance, and that that the U.S. needs to quit demonizing North Korea. And that, quite frankly, is not true. And let me explain, okay? The President Bush Sr., George H.W. Bush, he suspended the joint U.S.-South Korean military exercises back in the late 80s, early 90s. And when he did that, or shortly after he did that, North Korea started developing their first nuclear weapons program. So the nuclear weapons program was developed after the U.S. suspended the joint military exercises with South Korea. So that does not compute. And also, before President George H.W. Bush, Ronald Reagan set up a situation where the North Korean embassy in Beijing, China, and the U.S. embassy in Beijing, China had a direct phone line with each other. And that seems like a small step, but before that, diplomats from both countries would not even speak or acknowledge each other. So that is definitely a step in trying to secure negotiations and not to threaten a nation. So that does not compute. Also, she said there was progress made in 1994 with the Bill Clinton government, and there was some progress made to denuclearize North Korea, but it got worse when President George W. Bush did his axis of evil speech and developed a strike first policy on North Korea. That's not true either, because there was a clash in the West Sea between the North and South Korean Navy in 1999, and the North Korean Navy provoked the South Korean Navy. And then in 1998, South Korean fishermen caught in their net a North Korean spy submarine. That was before President George W. Bush was elected to office as President of the United States. Doesn't compute. Sorry, but it doesn't. Doesn't compute. Jill Stein does not know what she's talking about in this, and quite frankly, she's wrong. You hate to say this about anybody, but she needs to read the complete history of North Korea, and the complete history of North-South Korea relations, and the complete history of U.S. and North Korean relations. Anyways, before I let you guys go, President George W. Bush, when North Korea agreed to suspend their nuclear weapons program, President George W. Bush took North Korea off the nations that sponsor terrorism list, or the nations of terrorism list, because the North Korea agreed to suspend their nuclear weapons program. So, presidential candidate, or former presidential candidate, I should say, Jill Stein does not mention that. Anyways, hope everyone's doing well. Take care. God bless them. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.